say this country is hot or that country is hot. You know, for example, in Taiwan, there is a brand called QQ Rice. You know, instead of serving hamburgers, they serve rice with all kinds of fillings inside. So, you know, to Taiwan, you know, wow, because a lot of Malaysian Chinese studies in Taiwanese university. So, you know, when they got back to Malaysia, they were all hankering for this food, right? So, but to the surprise of the Taiwanese franchisor, they couldn't open in Malaysia because they are not allowed to import all those purple rice and special rice because Malaysia produces rice. So, you know, so it's hot, but you can't get in, you know. So, you know, similarly, I talk about the minor group, you know, it's very big in Thailand. To them, the Indo-Chinese countries are hot for them because...
Indo-Chinese countries,
yes,
very hot.
Like Myanmar, like Cambodia. Why? Because they're all Buddhists. And for some reasons, I spoke to many Myanmarese and Cambodians, they like Thai brands, which is why, you know, the big brands from Thailand, like the pizza company, you know, Swenson, as a master franchisee for Swenson, the minor group, all gotten already.
So I think if I could add, one of the things we look for today is strong franchise community. Is there a franchise association? Is it got good leadership? Are there a lot of brands already established there?
Why is that important?
Because if they have an active franchise community, a great franchise show, and systems in place there to sell franchises, it does make it a lot easier to grow your brand in those marketplaces in building and growing a franchise network. So that was one of the reasons this market was attractive to us.
Here's a question. Go ahead.
Just adding to Ray's point, I've recently had a PhD student who finished his PhD, a Vietnamese PhD student, and supporting Ray's point about having a local franchise, a strong local franchise sector is a very important factor. One of the real challenges for Vietnam at the moment, I think, is that there is not, even though there's a franchise law, even though franchising is underway, there is actually not a very mature understanding of franchising. I mean, look, anybody knows what, you can explain franchising to someone in 2 sentences, can't you? You've been into Jollibees, you sort of understand this concept of licensing brands and systems. But we all know, those of us in franchising know that it's a very complicated, sophisticated, intricate, difficult relationship that underlies that. And that needs a certain level of sophistication, commercially, culturally, socially, legally, all that sort of thing. But one of the biggest problems of all, I think, is that it's something that happens, but it doesn't happen overnight. There's a mature understanding of franchising by governments, by media, by franchisors, who don't always, in a developing economy, understand their obligations, and by franchisees, who really don't know how it works. So this is, I think, supporting Ray's point, yes, the more it... this is why a function like this, of the size and scope and scale and the media attention that this has generated speaks so highly for the future of franchising in the Philippines, that's for sure.
That's a great point. And having said that, when you do pursue overseas, give us some idea and some tips, some advice on how best to choose your partners overseas. Because there will be those who will be knocking on your door, and how do you vet them? How do you sift through those who are worthy of doing business with, especially for master franchises?
Okay. Can I?
Yes, Albert.
I better ask permission from the professor. Right. Anyway, it's very important that you profile your franchisee. You know, for example, I have a client.
And you know, I'd like to ask, if it's okay with you, to share some of your sad stories, so to speak, in choosing partners. I mean, so we can learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
I can tell you about my 2 marriages.
That's franchising your family name.
It's a relationship. Franchising is a commercial marriage. It's the business world's most...
Well said. Well said.
Can I continue?
Albert, go ahead.
Okay, just a bit of bantering, huh? Okay, so the profile of the franchisee is of supreme importance. For example, in childcare, most franchisors would require that the franchisee will be able to employ people with a diploma in child development, etc., etc. We did Misha, which is a cosmetics franchise from Korea. After discussing with them, we realized that they see color blindness as a no-no in their franchisee because just red lipstick itself, there are many shades of red, so they don't want their franchisee to keep giving black or purple lipstick to people. So I mean, this is just one example. We are trying no ex-chefs as franchisees because they really want Chinese food standardized. A lot of Chinese chefs...
No ex-chefs.
Yes,
okay.
A lot of Chinese chefs, because of whatever, they will add a pinch of salt or pepper or vinegar just to make it their taste, So things like that. I'll let the others add on.
What about you, Ray? I mean, you've probably been through some terrible experiences as well.
Well, I mean, we have a lot more success stories, but there have been those challenges, those people that won't listen or won't follow up. I think you have to vet them really well in the beginning. What we do is we have them fly to our headquarters in West Palm Beach. We spend 2 full days with our whole executive staff with them, individually interviewing and getting to know them really well. We fly to their country and get to know them even more. We go through a step-by-step process. There's a deposit that they put down, and while we're going through finding locations and negotiating leases and working together, we can always shake hands and part ways the more we get to know each other and have those situations. We've had it before, and I'm sure in the future with 1,400 franchisees in 60 countries, you have those scenarios that pop up. It's how do you handle those situations and quickly assess them. And we had a master license in Europe that did a really good job selling franchises. He just did a really poor job of reselling them when they came up for sale. And when the economic financial world crisis happened, he had more than half his stores were for sale, and he had major problems financially.
Would you like to add to that? Choosing the right partner. It's common. Everyone always says it's all about this relationship that's important.
Choosing the right partner, especially in franchising. It is just good to have a franchisees over across the border because we are going to expand our business with his money or her money, right? But that alone is not sufficient, I think. We must be able to see whether, because we are engaging in different kind of businesses. Perhaps food business, one has got to wake up early in the morning to go to market and see things, the oils in the frying pan at 9 a.m. ready for the customer to come in, and whether that discipline is suitable for that would-be franchisee. That has got to really be scrutinized. Just because he has got money, he may not be turned out to be a good franchisee.
Great point. I don't want to monopolize this conversation, so we do have microphones on the floor. I hope you've been able to think of some questions. I mean, I'm so impressed with the kind of caliber of speakers we have here. And I do hope that you take advantage of the situation by asking questions yourselves. We do have a first question. That's just right on cue. Okay, sir, go ahead.
I'm Joe Faustino, Professor AIM. None of the resource persons alluded to hiring a local manager to help you get established. That seems to be a very practical way of getting to know the market quickly, getting on the road quickly. However, I'm sure you all heard of horror stories of a local manager being left alone so much.
That's a fantastic question.
Well, I did hire a local. We had a really strong strategic plan to have an individual based right in Switzerland. It's centrally located for many of the countries in Europe, Italy, France, right there in Germany. And the fella I hired, and I take responsibility, was